Hello, race fans, and welcome to this edition of St. Louis Motorsports Review. We're in our Motorsports Review studio in Edwardsville, Illinois, and on this edition of St. Louis Motorsports Review, we're going to be bringing you one more sportsman heat race from the Pepsi Nationals at I-55 Raceway, the 55-lap late model feature, and the 15-lap sportsman feature. A lot of action. You're going to love this one. Stay tuned. Enjoy this edition of St. Louis Motorsports Review.
Sit down. We don't have any water. No water. All right, here we go. Next sport. Tyler takes off. They got trouble. They can make it back in. He does. Here comes Ryan Eilers. Your top three. Whoa. 50-50 ticket sellers. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Eilers on a restart. Gagan Bricado. Oh, look out. Dave Armstrong. He's trying to find a spot. Ryan Eilers.
race fans, you just watched one of the longest and one of the best super late model features at I-55 Raceway in the track's history. Shannon Babb beats Billy Moyer at the checkered flag to win the Pepsi Nationals World of Outlaw late model feature event in unbelievable style. Having a terrible year, Shannon Babb has been frustrated all season long. 2010 has not smiled on Shannon Babb until the I-55 Pepsi Nationals. He beat Billy Moyer, who owns that racetrack. Billy Moyer's got the track record. In fact, Billy Moyer broke his own track record to keep what he's got right now. In addition, Moyer has cleaned up at I-55, winning thousands of dollars over the last 6 years, and believe me, it was quite a feat to see Shannon Babb take the checkered flag. After the race, Billy Moyer congratulates him. They hugged each other. Again, Shannon Babb, happy, 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 and all smiles. Now, coming up next, it's the Sportsman feature, part of the I-55 Nationals.
Collins out of Waterloo, Illinois, on the pole with Troy Ridley on the outside. Eilers and Nations, that's Brian Eilers and Ken Nations in 2. Troy Nager and Gary Haynes, the governor, in 3. Wernell and Stolzer in 4. But Ray Walsh, you know where he's at? Ray Walsh is on the beach in Florida with his family down at Disney. I'll bet that's a fun ride. All right, here we go. Look at the battle for the lead. Here they by. Have the ambulance stand by in the back straightaway. I'm telling you. All right, here we go.
Great race again with Jeff Herzog winning the sportsman feature, that portion of the I-55 Pepsi Nationals. The season, of course, for stock car racing is winding down. Race fans, want to tell you about a couple of dates coming up. Of course, October the 23rd, Gateway International Raceway, the nationwide race. It's going to feature Danica Patrick. A lot of the big names will be there. It could be possibly one of the final big races in the history of Gateway International Raceway. Stop by and check that race out. Send that old girl out because in style, because she deserves it. Also want to give a shout out to the Fayette County Speedway up in Brownstown, Illinois. They've got a 3-day show, October 15th through the 17th. Modifieds, team cars, factory stock. A lot of big action up there. It's kind of tough to say goodbye to Gateway International Raceway, ladies and gentlemen. Started back in 1967, Wayne Minard had an 8-mile drag strip. It went the opposite direction that it goes now. I actually announced when the drag race was headed in the other direction down there at Gateway. But again, over the years, it's featured NASCAR, Indy cars, IRL. There's been names like Don Garlett's race there. Chris Pook took it over with the Grand Prix Association from Long Beach. When he came to town, he brought in the big names. They put $21.5 million in that facility, built what's called a Flat Darlington. That's what the racers call Gateway International Raceway, a Flat Darlington Raceway. Once again, NASCAR Nationwide Series, the Camping World Truck Series, and also, of course, all the other classes, including NHRA. What a drag racing history Gateway International Raceway has, and we can't forget about all of the fine times that we had down at that racetrack. You've seen a lot of it on St. Louis Motorsports Review. We've been there a lot. We've supported that racetrack, and we really hate to see it go. But I'll tell you who really hates to see it go is the Wallace family. The Wallace family tribute at Gateway International was probably one of the best events in addition to a race program that they've ever had down there, recognizing Kenny and Mike Wallace and of course Rusty Wallace, the champion Sprint Cup champion, and all the Wallaces are champions in their own right. But to honor that family, along with Father Russ Wallace, who was a dirt track star here at many racetracks throughout the area, again, that was a crowning touch to the history-filled Gateway International Raceway. Next event on St. Louis Motorsports Review, we're going to be bringing you the Allied Auto Racing Association Bud Poley Memorial. That's right, this race features sportsman cars, pure stocks, and Pro 4 race cars, the final event of the season at I-55 Raceway, coming up next on St. Louis Motorsports Review.